Hey, fellow theme park fans, England team here. I'm with Dalton, the Authenticator. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. Hello, folks.
Dude, we have a lot of news, and it's going to lead to a lot of the commentary that will make sure that I am never going to get a press pass from Disney. They're very strict about that. They actually tell people, we want you to say this, this, and this, and this, and this, and don't say that.
You are not on the list, sir.
Yeah, look, a while back, I realized that they started making rides I'm never going to do. I'm not going to get there at 6 o'clock in the morning to type in my phone to get on Star Wars. Just not happening. But recently, I've noticed that they've been pricing me out. You know, I would go Florida resident. They say they don't like annual pass holders because we don't spend money. Bull crap, we don't spend money. We're the money you could count on. When they were down for COVID, we were the money that they knew was coming in.
Yeah.
The Floridians who had our passes. And he says, well, they treat it like their own playground. Yes, because we bought the annual pass.
It's in the freaking backyard, sir. Yeah. What do you expect?
It's also why you get an annual pass. You could go there frequently. Sometimes Gail and I literally would walk around, enjoy the environment, and go to dinner. That's all. Yeah. That's literally only going to spend money. Or we would say to ourselves, hey, you know, the new Christmas ornament is out, or this new thing is out. Yeah. We are not one of those hoarders that go in and buy 50 or 60 different, you know, so they can sell it on eBay.
Right.
But we would go, yeah, you know what? They've got this new hamburger over at the Contemporary Hotel. Let's go do that. They've got a new cupcake. Let's go do a cupcake run.
Or there's a new initiative over at Epcot because they always have festivals and what have you.
So yeah, so we would go and do that kind of thing, and spending money was a lot. But the thing is over the last couple of years, and a lot of people are blaming Bob Chapek, but in all honesty, it did start before him. He just put on the freaking gas.
Yep.
The prices have gone, I'm not going to say literally, but literally insane. It's ridiculous.
The famous Jurassic Park clip. We just need to keep that clip on standby whenever we talk about stuff like this.
Yeah. You could charge $62,000 for this experience. So I just saw this. It is about the Disney Genie hike. And hello to Maranya saying, my husband is a season pass holder for our Ren Fair, and he goes every day on the weekend. That is that his work schedule allows him to do. It's $75 for the pass and $30 per normal ticket. The pass works for us. I used to have one of those, like Legoland right now would be a great pass to have. They cost about $65 to get in, but the pass is $130. So if you go any kind of frequent, get the pass, they go in, they know they've got you for the burgers and the fries, the whole 9 yards. But this is freaking ridiculous. Now, I didn't read the article. I just read the headline. And the headline is almost $90 for one ride. Disney hikes up individual lightning lane pricing over on the Disney Genie thing. Okay, so let me get to this. Disney, hold on. Let me actually bring this down so I can also, just in case we have comment, read the comment. And it goes to say the Disney fandom isn't waking up with the best news in the past few days. Overnight, Disneyland Resorts and Walt Disney World Resort have hiked up their prices, leaving fans clinging to their wallets. And we previously shared that the news on October 10th, park guests visiting Disneyland parks in Disney, California, were quick to notice that overnight, the line-skipping service Disney Genie had jumped from 20 per person per day to 25. The news flooded in from there, as not only did Disneyland bump up Genie, but also revealed its park ticking pricing to boot. Walt Disney World was quick to jump in on the action. Disney World's Genie Plus service is now a vary by date pricing, which removes the sticker price of $15 per person per day and can now allow Disney to increase it as they see fit. Now, we saw that with the ticket prices. Like, what got me is they took the high price. Like, it used to be $90 and $99, and then they said, okay, it's going to be $130 on peak season. And then they said, you know what, we're going to do this forever. And then $130 became the base price. And
yeah, excuse you.
yeah, it's like when you go to your grocery store and they have the soda, they'll up the price to $2. But the soda used to be $1. So they'll say, they'll put the price tag $2 and then say it's on sale for $1, which is what you had always been paying.
Yeah.
And then when the sale is off,
price.
yeah, it's kind of like that. Okay, so let's see. On the morning, October 12th, the Disney Genie price increase was implemented at $20 per person in addition to the Genie Plus service. However, guests can also pay to skip lines on the 4 most popular Walt Disney World attractions that are not included on Genie Plus. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and Avatar at Animal Kingdom. All are all individual Lightning Lane attractions. If you prefer to skip these lengthy lines, you need to pay a la carte to do so. As shown in the screenshot below, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom costs $11 per person to be purchased on October 12th, 2022. It's almost $50 after tax for a family of 4 to skip the lines. 50 extra freaking dollars if you want to skip the line. It is, this is something I've started to realize. I will not be able to afford going to Disney anymore. I've been going my entire life. I've resigned myself to never going to Disney again, actually. My day is over. My Disney time is done. They decided, no, England teen, you're too poor. Go away, stay away. Doesn't matter. We don't want you. Want to ride Epcot's newest roller coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind? Yes, I would. I would love to get an annual pass and go in, and I can't, no, but if I want the Lightning Lane, it's $15 per person, making it roughly $65 for a family of 4. I guess they add tax. The most expensive individual Lightning Lane attraction at Walt Disney World right now is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. The standby line, typically over 3 hours in wait, is if a family of 4 is looking to skip the attraction line, they will pay close to $90 after tax for the 20 per person attraction. $100 extra for your family to skip the line in the Lightning Lane.
At least it's for the family, because I remember when we were discussing this backstage, we assumed it was for one person.
Yeah, when I heard that, I actually thought it was for a person. But that's it's not
still
exactly
a lot.
a wonderful
I'm just saying
thing.
it's a lot better than.
It's better than 90, but it's not better than, hey, why don't you get this fast pass for free and go on the ride? Or why don't you just, in my opinion, do away with the freaking fast passes? Seriously, I know now they're making money off of it. It's never going to happen. But let people go, oh, I want to get in this ride. I want to ride this ride. And yes, I'm willing to wait the 2, 3, 4 hours to do it. The lines haven't gotten shorter. They've just been split in half.
Yeah.
Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is still a 3-hour wait, even though they have fast pass and all that kind of bullshit. It's still the same thing.
Because now you have half of the people taking advantage of fast pass, and then it's like, well, this is still an hour wait because everyone's using fast pass.
One of the worst things, I went in the standby line. This is when Avatar was new, and they have this river adventure ride. Okay, hadn't done it. This is what I'm doing. That's what I said to myself. This is what I am doing. I'm going to do the Avatar stuff. That's my whole day. So if I spend 3 hours, 4 hours in line, I planned this is it. Because this was the new stuff and so forth. So I see it's only it's only 40-minute line. It's not great for a Floridian. We think that's a long line. So I jump in. And I'm like, wow, we're actually getting through this pretty good. It's 20 minutes. It's really cool. And this old guy walks out and he stops our line dead. And he holds us there, even though there's nobody coming through their fast pass line, because he was told to let in 100 guests from the fast pass and then like 4 people or 5 or a family or so from the regular line.
What?
Blew my freaking mind when I heard about this, because you literally have nobody coming through the line. You could let in as many people as you want until the fast pass lane opens.
There is no fast pass line, so why act like it's there? Yeah.
And last but not least is the impressive Avatar Flight of Passage at Disney Animal Kingdom. By the way, it's an incredible ride. It is so fucking cool. The attraction boasts extremely long lines, but skipping it is $14 per person. A family of 4 after tax, $60. Keep in mind, all of the Disney park attractions, except for Epcot's Guardians of the Galaxy, offer standby line. This means Disney guests are not required to purchase Disney Genie. But from all things we're hearing, they ignore you if you don't. It's like I said, well, we'll let in 5,000 people who have the Lightning Lane, the Disney Genie, and all sorts, and then 1 person from this line. The whole thing is they want you to buy this. So they make it so difficult for you.
I think I made this joke back when we were first covering the announcement of Disney Genie, but it really feels like this wish came from the Jin from Wishmaster, not the Robin Williams Genie.
And that's what they've been doing. They're making it harder for people to just go into Disney and enjoy it. In the meantime, Universal, who's always been selling their fast passes, I mean, that's just the truth of it. I think in the beginning they didn't, but then they started selling it as cards. So it's like $40, $50 a day, and they're the same thing. If you want a fast pass, you got to spend some money. And if you're there during Christmas, if you're there during like the 4th of July, these big busy days,
good luck with that.
Yeah, it's going to cost you $100. And some people still say, hey, you know what? It's great. This is what we came for, and we love it. Okay, fine. That's your family. That's what you do. Disney here, they're making portions smaller and the price is larger. It's become horrible. But here's also something. I worked at Universal for a very long time, and they never stopped me from controlling the fast pass line the way I wanted to control it. Do you know what I did? I did exactly that. If there was nobody in the fast pass lane, come on in, kids.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't until someone was actually in the fast pass line.
I would empty out the fast pass line. Sure, fine. They paid for it. So I emptied that out. But after that, I would actually stop people here and I would let a line build up, or I would just pop it open if there's only one person. Come on in. But I would never stop that main line, because that main line is still guests, and they still have phones, and they still have computers, and they still have the ability to go, wow, that sucked.
Yeah, there's still valid people who have an opinion on this.
Let's see. Disney is fast becoming the destination for either the super rich or lottery winners. I seriously doubt that Walt intended this to happen. That's what a lot of people are saying. True.
Yeah, this is why I always cite that one scene.
Yeah. And that is what's been happening. Now, like I said, Universal is not innocent in it, but they look a hell of a lot better than Disney does. They look a hell of a lot better in Disney than Disney in a lot of ways.
How far the mighty have fallen when Universal looks good.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in just a second. Let me say also something that happened recently is in Disney California, the Disneyland, the Indiana Jones ride shut down for question mark, meaning we don't know when it's reopening. There was so many elements of that ride that broke that they have to now shut it down indefinitely to fix everything. They can't give a time that it's going to be fixed.
Wait, isn't like daily or weekly or bi-weekly maintenance like just a normal thing that you do on these things?
Here's the thing. Like I said, I worked at Universal Studios, and the ride that I specifically worked at for a long time, because I was at Alfred Hitchcock doing the show. I worked at Nickelodeon, and I worked at Twister, and then Disaster Studios. And by the way, every time I went there, one of those closed. I was the death touch, by the way. But it's sad but true. And I could tell you is, especially when it comes to Twister, what would happen is we rush everybody into the show scene and we get everybody positioned, start the show. Okay. First thing that happens is these big fans on the side start blowing wind to kind of get this crosswind going for the guest. And that makes the guest feel a little bit, oh, okay, what's going on?
Because it's a Twister. So
and it puts you into the element. It makes you feel, especially if you're on the sides. I mean, granted, not so strong but those fans were huge. And it would help you to feel like you're in the tornado because you have this big old crosswind coming at you. And then we would have, of course, start the show. The Twister, it starts off like a movie thing. It tears off a movie screen showing The Shining, and then boom, it's right in front of you. Okay. And in that Twister, there's a whole bunch of debris and all sorts of stuff that's going around. And then all of the elements start. Almost immediately, the fans got turned off and the debris no longer flies. And it never happened again. It was it took no time at all, and Universal went, yeah, nobody will notice. And then here's another thing. They decided that they wanted to. It didn't matter show quality; it mattered show count. Get more people through. Your show count goes up. You get a bigger staff. You get a bigger budget. Blah blah blah. Yada yada. So it became more about that. And what happened is this huge tornado ends up being this little bitty funnel, right? Because what would happen is when we let everybody in, we then shut the doors and the pressure in the room build up. And because we were
that made the air pressure better, which made the Twister.
When we rush people in to get more people in, more shows, the doors never really have time to start before we're starting that show or to close. So the room pressure never builds up. So you get a smaller vortex. So once again, Universal was
in short, Twister ride, no Twister.
No Twister. Yeah, sometimes that actually happened. But the thing is I've seen that happen in every attraction. Earthquake, some elements would drop. But it amazes me that Disney, I always felt, is the tip top. You know, you can look, Universal is kind of like Heinz mustard, but Disney's the Grey Poupon. You know, it's just it's the special stuff, you know. And that's the way it should have been. So to have Disney be so willing to let their attractions just fall apart like that is ridiculous. So we've been getting less. We've been getting less and less from Disney as people are looking and they're seeing rides are going down, and they're watching portions get smaller. And we may talk about that. And Disney's fans, they started speaking up about this. So let's look at that for a second. All righty. Here we go. Angry fans react to yet another Disney price hike. And I'm telling you, man, it is getting bad. People are sincerely getting tired of this. But not tired enough to, here's the thing. Disney's not going to care until you get so tired you don't buy it. So it starts saying going on Disney has never been an inexpensive experience, and they're true. Unfortunately, now it will cost even more. And here we go. We've got the tier 1, 114 from 104, 129 from 119. Now I'm assuming this is you get more or you stay more, whatever. But can you imagine, or it's probably by the day. Can you imagine spending $179 for one day at Disney?
No.
It's ridiculous.
At that point, I would be like, I'm just going to go to the local Ren fair instead. It costs like $60.
Yeah. Look, like I said, Universal isn't this expensive. We've gotten so many, we've got so many other things to do here in Florida. And also the experience is getting to be less and less. Disney increases prices every 6 months now. Not a good look. Can't wait for a nice uncrowded Disneyland thanks to the price increases. They keep saying they're increasing it to control prices, but I guess rich people are rich people, man. Because there's a lot of them.
When you're blowing your nose with $1,000 bill, what's an extra 100 here and there? So
Disney prices are going up, says the Washington Post. The change is meant to continue managing strong demand. And this person says Disney sees Universal about to open 5 new lands. Yeah, they're going to be opening up that Nintendo thing. So,
well, good news. You managed to make the demand virtually disappear.
Many are wondering how far Disney will be able to push its prices before things begin to implode. On some days, a one-day park hopper ticket to Disneyland with Disney Genie will cost around $300 per person. $300 freaking dollars a day. Many guests are also upset because as Disney increases the cost of pretty much everything, the portion sizes are going down. Can you see? I just switched. Can you see the switch? Okay. This is the difference in portion sizes. All right. That I know what that is. That's at that looks like it's at the Columbia Harbor House, and that would be full when we used to go. Of your, because that's a what do you call it, lobster roll kind of thing. Yeah These tiny little dinners that's just like nothing. $15 for a small bowl of pasta. There's barely any of the meat on the lobster roll. It's gotten ridiculous.
No, wait a minute, hold on. The whole point of this, in my head, maybe I'm naive here, but the whole point of this is to give the feeling of luxury, right?
Yeah, you would think.
That's the impetus. So why aren't you giving people their money's worth, or even just a little bit more than their money's worth? Because A, you're Disney, you can afford it, and B, giving the people an experience worth having makes them happy, which makes them want to spend money, and or makes them want to come back later to spend more money.
Guests are more likely to go online and complain than they are to talk about their good experience. Did you know that?
I believe it. I can believe it. I didn't know that directly, but that makes sense to me.
This guy's saying, honey, I shrunk the pizza. Because it used to come in a slice of pizza. Like if you went to Rizzo's, why you would, I would never know. At Hollywood Studios, you would get a big slice of pizza. Now you're getting this little stuff. At least, and it came in a big triangle box, and the pizza fit in the box. That doesn't even fit in that box. They're saying right here. And it's gotten ridiculous. Now, of course, I would never get pizza from Rizzo's at Hollywood Studios because it sucks. It's one of those things. What was the joke? Two women are eating in the Catskills at a restaurant. One says, "Wow, this food is horrible," and the other one says, "I agree." And the portions are so small. Yeah. Which is why would you want more of a bad thing? But that's what you get here, and it's been getting like this. I noticed also, once again, not all Bob Chapek's fault, but even when Iger was there, you didn't get a freaking lobster roll like this. I would send that back.
He took the bad tendencies and gave them freaking growth hormones.
I would send that back. I actually did that once at I was at the food festival, and we like to get the beer cheese soup, right? And they give it to you in a cup about yay big. It used to be a little bit like so, and it was about that deep. So you got a good portion, right? I don't know. I hate when people say right at the end of every sentence. I'm apologizing. I'm going to try to stop that. So it ended up being like a Dixie cup kind of thing, and they filled it halfway. And I said, no, I'm a big boy. I could take this. Fill the cup. If you're going to give me this little itty bitty thing, fill that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I need food. Dang.
Yeah. So I noticed the portions were going smaller and smaller and smaller. I told Gail this, and she agreed. I said, it's starting to be, if you go fast food, you're not getting yourself a deal. And maybe they're trying to push us towards the restaurants, the sit down, pay more, that kind of thing. But it doesn't make sense because a lot of those restaurants aren't owned by Disney. Like Landry owns all the dinosaur and the what was the other one? There's a dinosaur one. There's the jungle one, whatever it's called, Rainforest Cafe, and they own a really good Asian restaurant called the Yak and Yeti in Animal Kingdom. So there's like different different companies own different restaurants around Disney, and me and Gail we just figured it out one day. The portions are getting smaller, the prices are getting larger, and for $20, we could go to a restaurant. Granted, it's going to cost us for a drink and tip with it, but we would rather sit down, relax in the air conditioning, paying an extra $10 and getting a meal.
A worthwhile atmosphere. Yeah.
Maranya saying pasta is super cheap, so relatively is tomato sauce. I could see the less meatballs because beef prices are outrageous, but good meatballs are made with a combo of beef and pork, which is cheaper.
Well, I mean,
that's true.
That's a point as well that kind of bridges onto something I was going to say, which is I don't think it's just Disney. I think it's slightly more noticeable in Disney because you go there for luxury, but portion sizes have been getting smaller, and maybe this is just my imagination, but I don't think it is. In stores too, like when you get a bag of chips, yeah, I know they always put some nitrogen in there to keep them fresh and yada yada yada, but when I was a kid, it seemed like you got more chips, less nitrogen, and now it's two-thirds of the bag is nitrogen and like a single.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But in all honesty, I have been noticing this with Disney for a while. You will do yourself better to go to a sit down. But the thing is, I can afford to go to a sit down. My wife and I, we had annual passes. So our time is more free. We don't have to do all the rides and attractions.
Yeah. You can do one day and one the next day or next week or whenever.
Exactly. We go in for specific things, or we go in for no reason at all, which is another thing, excuse me, that has been bothering people is the fact that you have to plan everything 6 months out. You have no idea about things. If you're new to Disney, you don't know.
Yeah.
You may hear, oh my gosh, the Beauty and the Beast restaurant, that's so amazing, and I want to go in the castle and so forth. And then you see something else. You're like, wow, you know, the Skipper Cantina? It's got this, this, and this.
Here, and a new thing there. And
let's go and try that. Which, by the way, if you have a choice between Skipper Canteen or Beauty and the Beast, go to Skipper Canteen. Granted, it's got more exotic foods. It's just better. I mean, they're cooked better. They taste better. It's just a more amazing experience. Plus, you get Jungle Cruise Skipper style waiters and waitresses. By that I mean, it's based on like the guy who it's based on retired skippers going to be waiters and waitresses, so they still have the same old tired dad jokes. Yeah, while they're talking to you, so it's a lot more fun of an experience. Anyway, but yeah, the planning and everything it's gotten too much. It's gotten too much expensive. The Disney and Disney employees are now acting as if you're lucky to be going to Disney. Not that they're lucky. You should pay us for this experience. Yeah. They're not lucky that you chose to spend your money with them. You're lucky that they let you spend your money. And that is, in fact, a way that they've been treating annual pass holders. They don't want annual pass holders anymore. So we're lucky that they're letting us still buy annual passes.
And not to be too political here, but this is in some ways just a reflection of the current attitude among the powers that be. Is you are here on our goodwill, not the other way around.
Exactly. So yeah, we've got that going on, and the Disney experience, like I said, I do not see myself returning. I may go to a hotel or two, something where I wouldn't have to pay to go in. I may go in and to do a restaurant at a hotel, walk around Disney Springs or something, so long as it's still free. And you know, try the restaurants there, try the food there. The cupcake runs are my favorite, and I would love to get back to that at some point in time. But I don't think I'll ever walk into another Disney park. I do not see it happening in this climate. And I know there's more and more people who are agreeing with me.
And if you, a local, are saying that, then imagine how many people who idolize Disney as this once-in-a-lifetime thing are thinking, well, it's just not worth it at that point then.
For the same price you take your kids to Epcot, you literally could take them to England or Thailand, or, well, I don't know if you want to take them to China right now.
Yeah,
but
you literally could go around the world.
Around the world, yeah. You can actually take a vacation to see the real countries that Epcot is faking for you. So it's gotten ridiculous with the prices. Let's see. I wanted to see what we're talking. Oh, safety is always a concern at Walt Disney World. I will say this, both, hey, Bunderdome, what's up? If you want, jump in. Safety is always a concern at Disney and Universal. They really do, emphasize it. When you're an employee there, you go through certain classes. They will point you out for safety. Like if you're messing around on the job, and especially in a safety position, you will get fired. They make sure that everybody's safe. But something's been going on, by the way. And Disney, Universal, the whole 9 yards, they did not have any idea that would happen. I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's new Apple iPhones and Apple Watches and everything. When you're in a car wreck, they call the police. Oh, hey, it looks like you're in an accident. We're calling the police. And they do this for you. It's a bit of a safety feature. When I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Yeah.
Well, what if you go on, say, Space Mountain?
Well, that's gonna trigger some.
Exactly.
Sensors.
That's what's been happening here. So the thing about Space Mountain is at the end of the attraction, the ride comes to a very sudden stop. You're like, wah! It's just like that with your body. You really, your chest compresses right into the safety bar, the whole 9 yards. So it has turned out that as soon as that has happened, Apple devices have called their user going, it looks like you've gotten an accident, and 911 has been notified.
Yeah, well, that's inconvenient. I can understand why that happens, because imagine if it didn't happen, but it was an actual.
Yep. At the end, at the bottom of this Splash Mountain hill, there's a sudden stop, which will activate your safety feature on the iPhone. So they've got signs now that are saying, leave your phones behind, please. Because they will. So cell phones and other devices should not be brought on. And then it says straight up, Apple Watches and similar devices may activate their emergency call function. So they're now asking everybody to stop bringing them on rides. And hey, look, I get it. I think that's a good idea anyway. You don't need to be checking your phone on a ride. And by the way, leave them out for the shows too. Okay. Thank you very much. If I'm going to go see the PhilharMagic, I want the only annoying, distracting thing to be my singing as loud as I possibly can during that show and having people go, yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm the only annoying thing allowed in the, yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, people's addiction to their phones. I mean, like, it's like when you go to the movie theater and like 90% of people are just on their phones the entire movie through, and it's like, you do know they turn out the lights of the theater so that the screen is actually visible, right?
I've started getting tickets for seats closer to the screen just because of that. Well, that and my failing eyes. But seriously, I hate the glow. And if I'm watching, if a guy beside me or on either side, if they're looking at their phones during the previews, I'll go, you are going to turn that out during the movie, right? I've had a couple people get mad, but usually a good stare, just.
Yeah, just remember to turn, like,
they'll stop.
Mute function, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty rude in the movie theaters to people who seem like they're going to be rude in movie theaters.
See, this is why when I go to the movie theater, I try to go like 2 or 3 weeks after the movie has come out that I want to see. So that way there's a good chance that I end up with the theater basically to myself.
I, on the other hand, really wrestled with not going to Halloween tonight. I want to see that Halloween movie. So anywho, that's something that I wanted to talk about, was the whole safety thing. What else do we have? Okay, and finally, I don't know about this story. I really don't, but this will be the last story here. It's not even Disney World. It's not even Disneyland, ladies and gentlemen. This one's in Disney Japan, of all things. Police investigate human remains. It's not even Disney. Reportedly found at Universal Studios Resort. According to the Japanese news network, a worker at Universal Studios Japan discovered what appeared to be human remains on the theme park's resort's property in Osaka. The remains, which included what appeared to be a human skull, were found in some bushes near a road that borders a parking lot on the property of Universal Studios Japan. The theme park resort is located in Osaka Konohana ward, a popular tourist destination in western portion of the country. According to Japan news outlet, the Universal employee reported finding a bone-like object around 2:30 p.m. Well, it doesn't matter when. Reports say that what was found appeared to be a portion of an upper jaw. At this time, the bones have not been positively identified as human. However, the look of the remains led the employee and some in the investigation to believe that they are human. And the remains are not believed to be from an infant. So it goes on to say, while local law enforcement is taking the finding very serious, some users on Twitter are poking fun at the incident, saying that the remains are only props, and even going so far as to blame the placement of those props on Disney. Oh, God. They will do anything, won't they? So, yikes. My wondering here is, how buried were they?
Yeah.
Seriously, how buried?
Or did someone literally do a drive-by with like the murdered corpse and go off into the worst littering ever?
Well, that's the
thing.
Best. Dead bodies stank. So what happened here? Why is there skeletal remains? If they came from a body, then wouldn't that body have stunk up the place enough for somebody to go, "Ooh, what is that in the corner?" You know?
Or did the person just wait until the body had fully decomposed and gotten rid of the bones? In which case, if you could have kept the body for long enough for it to decompose, why did you literally litter the bones?
Well, that might actually be, and I'll tell you why. I've seen this so many times. I've seen it so many times at Universal, at Disney. I've even seen it in China in the Forbidden City. So many people are there. Nobody's paying attention. It's like you pay attention to your family, but you don't pay attention. It's like you get, you ever see a movie where everything blurs out except for the point of focus?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works like that. So you could get
or like what happens in New York sometimes.
Yeah,
New York
you could
City.
get away with damn near anything because nobody's paying attention,
and people don't like to get involved anyway. Yeah,
or they think that it is part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen. I actually, when I was on stage at Alfred Hitchcock, I was doing the show. We had you know, the Psycho, the shower scene.
Yeah.
Well, that was done with wild walls, which of course you move and open in order for Hitchcock to move from outside the room to inside the room. The walls actually opened for him so he could walk through. So we had those walls and we demonstrated it. So I reached down to open the wall. I turned, and when I did, my hand got stuck right here. And when I pulled up, I tore the flesh open. And I was like,
people were applauding.
I went, yes, just like that. And people laughed.
Yeah.
And for the whole rest of the show, I was in pain, but I was finishing the show. And
it's a bit, yeah.
I'm dropping blood all over the place. And people, I heard them. Somebody came up to me after, because we rotated from different points, and I was out in front talking to guests and everything. Yeah. And somebody said, "Oh, that was so funny, and I love that when you cut your hand, you were like, it was good slapstick." And I said, "Well, thanks." And I held up that I had already been to health services, and they had it all bandaged up. I said, "Yeah, I wasn't faking." And they were, "Oh my gosh." Because which
honestly, in my opinion, makes it better, because it means you basically improvised an entire bit rather than break character or break immersion.
We had to. You
should have gotten a raise that day.
We had to close everything up, because if somebody actually bleeds out onto the floor, you got to have people who are trained to clean bodily fluids to come in and clean it. So we had to stop the show for a while, also. What's the most effed up thing you ever saw working at a theme park? There was a lady who, and I don't know what you mean by effed up, but so I'll just name some of the strangest things. Of course, these are the ones that I remember right off the top of my head. A lady in front of the Twister attraction got naked and started masturbating. I did, one of my last volunteers at Alfred Hitchcock was a young lady who was a girl. She was like maybe 8 or 9, and she was going to be dead in a year. There was a guy who decided to take a picture on one of the, or in front of one of the velociraptors. We had this big Jurassic Park. It was during Lost World. Yeah, that would have to be Lost World. This big Lost World display. So he jumps up to grab onto the head, think he could hang there. Instead, he brought the whole thing down. That guy was not in the park for much longer.
Yeah, no.
Also, I saw somebody try to steal two. What are the small ones? Gala something or other. The ones in the Lost World that chased the little girl. We had two. We had two in a sink, and they decided to take that away, or they decided to try to steal one, but we caught them. Another thing I saw was this young lady was so excited to get to Twister. She ran up the stairs. She slips and she slices her foot on the stairs when she falls.
Oh,
and
no.
It was literal, just a whole bunch of blood just pouring. And this lady, she said that she was paramedic, sat there and just held her foot so it didn't bleed until our health services came. And I managed to get our manager so we could get this woman all the passes she needed. You know, like,
yeah.
Yeah. If you're holding another person's
please
foot,
don't sue us. We're sorry this happened.
There was one of the funniest things I saw. It was a very rainy day, and Mel's had these outdoor seatings with umbrellas and so forth. And me and my friend Greg we're outside. We're supposed to be telling people, you know, because we were having show problems. We're telling people, we're not open right now. And we look down, heading towards the exit is a family, and they've got one of those table umbrellas over them, just walking out of the park. And my friend, like, the hell, who, and like, what would make you think that's okay? You know, why, you know what? I know what we'll do. Instead of buying an umbrella or ponchos, I'll just steal this table umbrella. Like, what in your freaking brain?
Unscrew the umbrella that goes with the table, and it surely won't be noticeable at all.
Yeah, what would in your brain would make you think that that's okay? Seriously, I don't understand.
I don't think they thought it was okay. I thought they were thinking, I wonder if we could get away with this. This isn't I'm sure this is moral thing. It's I'm sure I could be sneaky enough to get away with this thing.
Now, if you want to talk fucked up, like seriously, or excuse me, effed up, I'm on Disney. One of the worst things, and this is something I saw a whole bunch of parents do, they would tell their kids, this isn't scary. And it would be, we would be either at Alfred Hitchcock. I've seen it at Twister. And I tried to tell the parents, scary to you is not scary to them, because when you or I say, is it a scary ride? We're talking about a big ass roller coaster. Mm-hmm. But to the kid, dark and loud is what they worry about. And I'm like, no, Twister's scary as hell. Don't take your, and I actually saw a girl get so scared. She's like my daughter. My daughter, Ashley, used to get really scared as well, to the point where I didn't understand it, because she got scared at Haunted Mansion one day. And this is a ride that she's been on 10, 20 times. So I thought, Ashley, stop acting. I was a bad parent that day. Ashley, stop acting like a dumbass. Let's go. And she got so frightened, she pissed her pants.
Oh.
She was 26, I think. No,
she was. It just has to hit right. Sometimes.
This is all on me, 100%. As a matter of fact, the employees who weren't allowed to call me a bad parent were looking at me like a bad parent. Gail was pissed so much at me.
I imagine there was some You will be sleeping on the couch tonight.
It
Yes.
it would if the Disney employees did not step in, it would have turned into that kind of day. It already was a little bit because Gail wanted to beat the teetotal hell out of me. And in all honesty, looking back, and almost like 5 minutes, like as soon as she went,
it was like, oh God, I'm the baddie here.
Yeah, as soon as she did what she did, and look, she was 8, I think, maybe 7. I'm not talking about like a teenager here, but as soon as she did what she did, I snapped out of whatever spell I was in. Okay. But Disney stepped in. They got her new pants. They got her a new shirt. They pampered the hell out of her. And it was
as well they should.
And I got to admit, there was one. I'm telling you, there's a lady. She wanted to say it, but she didn't say it. But she was like, "Yeah, I like you, unlike him." You know, I was like, I'm sorry. But I would see that a lot. I would see that action and reaction to a whole bunch of rides. And at one point, I saw Dad just flat out haul off in his kid, and I said, "Sir."
Yeah.
I said, I told him, I'm going to be calling security. Okay. That's just not appropriate. And he got really pissed. So, I mean, I did.
I can imagine. And I bet it was the, how dare you tell me how to discipline my child variety.
He went in and we ended up getting security. They met him at the thing, and I don't know what happened with them, because at that point, that was their job. I was at the time, I was the door guy. So
you stayed in your lane.
Yeah.
So
one time though, one of the leads, the managers of the attractions, comes out, and because I called him out, I said, I don't think these kids have parents. I think the parents left their kids right here, and they're like 2, maybe 3.
Oh no.
And they left him in front and said, I was going to move the stroller. I saw somebody leave the stroller here, and there's kids in it. And I think they went on the ride. And he goes, really? Oh shit. No. And he goes, he calls security, and they said they're going to take a little bit. So the guy says, hey, look, I think they're going to be out about now. If you're, judging by, we could tell basically because how long the line was, how long everything was, and so forth, that if that stroller appeared like a few minutes before, we figured it out. Okay, they should be out now. And he goes, I've never really confronted anybody. He's a young kid, younger than me. And so people respect gray hair a little bit more, than a young, like if you could be the manager, I'm just the employee, but they're going to respect me more. I've got the gray hair. I got the ears.
Yeah.
And he says, do you mind backing me up? And I said, sure. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm with you. So I step up, and we're by the stroller, and freaking Incredible Hulk walks over to the stroller, and I'm like, I'm out. Have a good day.
Good day. We observed.
We literally had to stand there and just tell this man, who could easily snap us in two, that you can't leave your freaking child out by himself. And the guy literally said, well, he was here. No, I'm not watching your kid, dude. I'm not even the kid. I asked the children, where are your parents in the ride? Who's watching you? I'm watching her. You're 3 years old. He must have been like 4 or 5, but yeah. The family who stole the table umbrella probably thought we can do this because we paid so much to get in. That does happen a lot. That does happen. Bunderdome saying, my dad farted a ripe one in the Space Mountain queue, and the kid behind us turned around to his dad and screamed, dude, Dad, you farted. And Glenzer saying these recollections would make a nice memoir. Sadly, I think you're onto something. I should write this up for
Adventures of a former theme park employee.
Other people have done it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple of Disney princesses and such that have talked about their experiences. So yeah, that's actually not a bad. That's not a bad thing. There would have been more human remains found.
You all just saw Anglintine's eyes turn to dollar signs.
Okay, it's not effed up, but here's a fun story. I'm working Halloween Horror Nights. By the way, Gail's working Halloween Horror Nights tonight. She works food and beverage. She's been in the food industry since she was a teenager. I always worked entertainment or the attractions. And at this point in time, they needed volunteers to work. I forgot what it was called. But it was a video that Universal Studios was releasing at Halloween. It was all about horror. It was kind of a best of kind of thing of Universal horror. Part of it actually ended up in the makeup attraction. And so they needed volunteers to work this show where you go in and they show you scenes from it. They talk about Universal horror. And then, of course, and if you want the DVD, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm standing out at the door. It's my turn. We're in rotation. Some go to the door, some are show, some are door, some are show, so forth and so on. So I'm at the door and I'm talking to one of the guys working with me. We're just standing there. And we see they had what's called the buzzsaw crew chasing people around. And these two guys were chasing these two girls who I assume were strippers. And I assume because I looked at them and they looked like strippers. They were wearing almost like bedazzled bikini tops that didn't quite cover all of their assets. And
they were tarting it up and so on.
At the time, those jeans that kind of low riders with the freaking G-string and all that showing, that was the style at the time. So the buzzsaw guys are chasing these girls around and they're scream and they grab onto each other and they're woo and they're having a grand old time and they come up to see the show and their bikini tops had gone around the boobs. So I am full on getting a great show. I mean, I'm breaking out my ones. Yeah. So they come up and the guy next to me, and once again, I'm the older guy here. I'm about 34, 35 around there at this point in time, maybe a little younger. And I'm the older guy here, so I'm the responsible one. They come up, and this guy's just like that. They're very beautiful girls. And so I said, "Hey, ladies, how's it going?" And they're like, "Oh, it's so great. You know, they're having a great time, having fun." I said, "Feeling cold?" And they're like, "Oh, no, it's beautiful. It's great." I said, before you come in, you may want to fix your tops." And they were like, "Oh, free show." And they covered it. And my friend looked at me. And like, the guy that was behind the guy that was working the show came out and walked, and they both looked at me like they wanted to set me on fire. I was like, "How dare you telling them that?"
All of us?
Yeah. They were just, "Why are you telling them that?" "No, let them go titties out." and oh gosh, what was his name? Max? No, that was the character name. What was his name? Because he was very, very famous actor at Universal Studios. Not like famous like Mel Gibson or anything, but he was one of these.
What did he play? I might be able to tell you.
No. He was like in the makeup show. He was in Men in Black. He was in all of the shows that were around Universal. So if you worked there, you knew him. He's one of those guys. But there, after one of the shows, they told him what I did, and he actually said, "Why would you do that?" "Oh, you're gay." Come on.
Well, okay, but speaking as someone who definitely swings that way, shall we say, just because we're gay doesn't mean we can't appreciate beautiful things.
Everybody enjoys a good set of knockers. Yes. But yeah, that was one funny thing that happened. Another one, same night, by the way, same freaking night. This drunk guy comes up. "I'm looking for Tower of Terror." Tower of Terror? "Yeah, I'm looking for Tower of Terror." Tower of Terror, that's in Disney. That's a Halloween. Tower of Terror. Yeah, Tower of Terror. That would be in Hollywood Studios. "Oh, okay. How do I get Tower of Terror?" Well, it's not here. It's in a whole other. "No, me, you mother, just where Tower of Terror." I went, oh, Tower of Terror. And then I pointed to the clock. It's right over there, sir. You want to go over there? Ask for Joe. Yeah, mother Tower of Terror. And he just walks off. Never saw him again. Never nothing. I was like, okay, I don't fight drunk people. Not going to happen. Let's see. Bunderdome saying there's a great book called The Dark Side of Disney. He claims that a lot of the princess and Disney Hooters waitresses are strippers. Some of them. And
somehow I'm not surprised.
And you know what? Some of them are just like, a damn. There was, I don't know. She was doing this on purpose. But I was
fairest of them all, indeed.
I was talking to an Alice once. And I've never seen anybody drink a soda like this before or since. But I'm backstage. I'm talking to an Alice. This is me back then. Okay, I had a bit of. I didn't have boobs. I had pecs, and I was a bit thinner. Okay, so in shape guy. This is in shape, not married Aaron. And Eglantine, whatever I want to call him. Okay, so anyway, I'm talking to her, and we're getting along fine, and so forth and so on. And so she twists the cap off of her drink, and she drinks, but she sticks her tongue.
She pulls a Megan Fox.
Yeah, she's like, and I was like, who the f does that? But I asked that question later because then I was like, oh.
and of course, now I'm gonna have to ruin everyone's fun by pointing out that the character of Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Disney's version, was supposed to be 12.
This one wasn't, so I don't care. Eglantine told the strippers that because he has daughters. Yeah, that actually works out a lot. But I never saw that Alice again. I'll tell you what, it gets weird because I have met characters and I've met the princesses and such, and it's like, oh yeah, sure, fine. And then when they're out of the garb, it's like I lose all interest. I'm like, wow, am I a Disney princess fetishist? I mean, that's the definition, right?
I mean, the problem is beauty standards are weird now. Like old for all of the backwardness of old school values and everything.
This was a long time ago, pre-Gale for the Disney princess thing.
Yeah.
There were two instances of that I can remember. The Alice in Wonderland, as soon as she took off the blonde hair, it was like, oh, you're cute, but you know,
you'd be better as a blonde.
Yeah, and then there was this girl at the Japanese place in Epcot. Yes, Eglantine with the Asians, and she was gorgeous, very nice, very nice. But when she was out of the kimono and when she was normal, she was loud and she was a drinker and she was basically every hillbilly girl
there's a lot less chaste beauty there.
Yeah, she was every hillbilly girl that I had grown up with, and I was like, yeah, I could get you home. No, I'm fine.
girls with the Instagram filters, girls without the Instagram.
That's basically how it was. So yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of funny stuff that happens. I love working at theme parks, as a matter of fact. You guys know recently I've had trouble at the other channels with the auctions and everything. I've applied. So first I applied for all the food things, but they won't take me for some reason. I can't. I don't know why I'm not good to deliver people's food. But they won't. So I'm going to go for Universal again, I think.
Maybe they're assuming you're going to eat it instead of giving it to them.
Yeah, okay, Crippy. I'll tell you what, if you joke on me about being fat.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, no, but wait, you could pull the protected class card on me.
I'm not going to. You know me. I don't pull that shit.
But yeah, I've seen some screwed up stuff, and I've seen some fun. I think when you work at a theme park, you can see the best and worst in humanity, really. You see people helping, you see people not caring, you see people hurting people, you see kids that, you know what, I actually, when a kid got scared, or if they were too scared to go on the ride, I would take them backstage and show them all the our artifice.
A younger version of me would have pretended to be scared just to get this treatment.
Just to get the thing. Yeah. So I actually had a kid come and say hello. It was like 2 years later, the kid comes up, oh, hey, remember me? And I'm like, yeah. And I look to the mother and she goes, hey, John, you remember him? And I was like, yeah, you're John. I was so grateful to the parent. But he was one of these kids I showed around. And he told me the story that after I showed him backstage, he wasn't afraid to go on any rides anymore because he saw that there's always somebody there to protect him, to make sure that nothing happens and that it's all fake.
He saw behind the curtain.
Yeah, and it made it so much more fun. And I ended up getting a whole bunch of people saying, oh yeah, Aaron at Twister, Aaron at Disaster, so good to be on. I got a lot. I actually got one time I was tied with my friend Greg I talked about earlier for best guest service. They did these things called the Golden Clickers. And I was like, God dang it, Greg, this is my year, you know. But it was nice.
I want to win, darn you, Greg.
I never would. At the time, Greg was, I think he was working Back to the Future at the time, or Men in Black, one of the ones in that area. And they just have a bigger staff. When you're working shows and all that, like I did, the staff was a lot smaller, so it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. It was, but it was nice. It's nice, and it's kind of fun. Did we lose everybody? No, actually, we've held the same 5 people. Hey guys, thank you. No comments. That's why I was wondering if we were. We lost.
Yeah, I've been periodically checking to see if anybody added anything, but
yeah.
no.
But it's good. It's fun to work there. I enjoy it. There's been I did see I did actually, by the way, step in to a fight once. I didn't fight. I didn't have to. I'm not a big guy. Like I'm only like at my tallest, I was 5'11". I think I've shrunk now, but but I've been like, I'm not a skinny guy. When I was young, I was a skinny guy, but when I put on weight and then I started lifting weights, I got a little bit. I've got a chest now. I've got some muscle. I've got and I was out in front, doing my Twister duties. I always loved working greeter, meeting people, talking to people.
Yeah.
You would hardly believe that I like
surprising
talking. Yeah.
No one. Yeah. Eglantine likes being extroverted and being the center of attention. Oh, perish the thought. How could I possibly have known this?
I see this Japanese couple walk up. It's early in the morning. It's also, it's just during a period where there's nobody. Like, don't go during the summertime. Don't go during Halloween Horror Nights. The period to go is the 2 weeks before, the 2 weeks right after Thanksgiving and right before Christmas. December 18th, don't go. But after Thanksgiving, the Monday after to about December 17th, it's empty. And it was around that time. Nobody's in the park. This Japanese couple's coming up, and they're not having a good time. They're arguing and they sit down for a bit, and the girl decides she's going to come up and she's going to walk through a track. Whatever is going on with the boyfriend, she's had enough. So she starts walking towards my attraction, and I don't want to say anything. I don't want to, get into it or anything. I get it. Me and Gail have been there a couple of times where you go out, you're all set to have fun, but something happens. And, it ends up, she's walking towards, and the guy grabs her by the arm, bam, right across the face. And I lost it. So I walked up. I didn't say a word, but I got in between them, and I got here. And that guy looked scared as fuck. Because I wouldn't let him walk. Like if he went around, and I said, no, we do not do this here. And he would look frightened as fuck. And then I went back, and I was like, oh shit. So I call up the lead. Hey, can you come up here? And it's the same guy. There are a lot of young guys that were doing the lead stations at the time. And I told him, I say, hey, I just freaking flat out intimidated a guy who hit his girlfriend. And so you may be getting a complaint about me. He says, if they complain about that, you're fired. And he was right. I could get fired for that because I was initiating. And nothing came of it. I'm assuming it's because English wasn't their first language. There was another time I could have gotten in trouble because I didn't know my manager was behind me. But it had just rained, and some guy decided that he was going to flagpole himself. You know, oh, I'm strong. Look, my girlfriends. And he climbs up the lamppost. I'm like, guy, come on. Don't be a dumbass.
You're going to crack your skull open on the pavement.
So he starts to flagpole himself, and he just goes, boom. And I said, see, you're now a dumbass.
Thou playest stupid games, thou winnest stupid prizes.
And I went, do you need medical attention, you dumbass? And my manager's right behind me listening to all of this. And I'm just laying it out. I was like, yeah, okay. No. Anyway, there you go. I'm talking way too much. I'd say you were fired. It'd be worth it. That's the hero moment for you. Wait, don't give out that people will show up. I know a lot of people have said that. Like at Disney, if you ever go to the Magic Kingdom, God bless you for being able to afford it. At the top of a place called the Harbor House, Columbia Harbor House, it was for a while mine and Gail's favorite fast food joint. But you get your food, you go upstairs. People don't know that there's seating upstairs. Or at least they didn't before TM and Diz Unplugged. And,
yeah, before everyone spoiled it for everyone else.
You freaking stop telling people that. Don't tell people that there's seating behind Duff's Brewery at Universal Studios. Don't tell people that there's seating for if you want to have a seat and relax beyond Sweet Pea's playground in Cartoon Lagoon. Because if you need peace and quiet, if you need a chance to just kind of chill, those are places people don't go. So thank you very much. The outside of the what do you call it? The guest center of Jurassic Park used to be, but now it's got a roller coaster there. Call it sad, call it funny, but it's better than evening money that the guy's only doing it for some doll, some doll, some doll. That guy's only doing it for some doll. Is there any Disney YouTube channel that you trust or enjoy? I only watch Walt Disney World News for the food blog. I don't like one of them, the Disney food blog, the one that says Win Disney, because they are so plastic. I don't mind the Diz Unplugged because they're willing to go, well, that sucked. And that's very important to me. I try to stay away from Tim Tracker because he relies on Disney giving him press passes. If it's somebody who is given press passes and such,
if you're on the payroll, then you're not to be trusted.
Yeah,
basically.
I used to watch them, but once again, then I realized no, they're going for the press passes. Adam the Woo was good. I was going to say Tim Tracker used to be good. The TMP is fun. What's his name? Paging Mr. Morrow. I like that guy. That guy just has fun all the time. Granted, he's a press passer too, but at least he's doing well. I like Disney Food Blog. It has extreme whittle middle class culture that makes me feel the problem I have with what I'm talking about, it's this girl's voice, and she's like, let's win Disney. Dun, 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 dun. It'll have titles like 10 things you must never do at Disney. Now, you want to know 10 things you must never do at Disney? Don't wear black all over the freaking place. It's 900 degrees here. Okay? While you're driving into the park, don't speed through the parking lots. And remember that the road rules are the same. How about this? Ladies, I know you're short and you feel bad about it. Don't wear high heels to a theme park. See, that's good advice for a theme park. Hey, teenagers who feel embarrassed about everything, nobody freaking knows you here. Relax, enjoy. But the Disney Food Blog goes, here's 10 things you must never do at Disney. Never forget to buy that extra fast pass. Never forget to set your reservations to make sure that you can get that restaurant you want. Like,
never stop shilling.
Yeah, never stop being a commercial. Yeah, that's why I don't particularly that one or remain Caucasian at all times. I feel like Disney Food Blog will never show narrations of thugs. Yeah, that's it. They'll never. Yeah, here's a piece of advice: don't fight at Disney. That's look. You're not showing your kids a good time when you get pissed at grandma to the point where you punch her. By the way, that was the first fight we reported on. I thought it was two families. It turned out it was the same family fighting each other. That is ridiculous.
That's both ridiculous and hilarious at the same.
Why, that both sucks and blows. Yeah, it's gotten ridiculous. It really has with all that kind of stuff. Anywho, we've managed to turn this 30-minute live stream into an hour.
Yep.
So let's call it here. You're right. I should cut out this and put out like a little memoir or something. There's a lot of stories to tell when you do this kind of thing. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. Awesome people, guys and dolls is so good. Even if Brando can't sing, he did okay. You're right. He wasn't great. Like, oh, lady, look, but there's been room for doubt. At times, I find my and it was all right. It was all right. I like that movie. But there you go, kids. Thanks for hanging out with us. By all means, please subscribe, share, and all that kind of stuff. We need the views and subs. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.